back. You're watching Power Lunch here on NDTV Profit. From today onwards, we are starting a special series wherein we will be bringing, to you all the key budget expectations. Because remember, this is going to be the most watched budget, and investors are clearly eyeing out for something really big, because this is going to be Modi government's first full-fledged budget. And starting today, we will be discussing what are the key expectations of individuals, what are the key expectations of various sectors, and of course what the corporates or something that you and me can certainly look forward to in this particular budget. To start with, today we will be discussing what are the key expectations as far as the direct tax is concerned, and to discuss all that with us, we have with us Mr. Vikas Wasal, who's partner tax KPMG. Thank you very much, Mr. Vikas, for speaking with us here on NDTV Profit. So we are kick-starting this very special, edition sort of a thing with you. Direct tax, something which even an individual is really worried about, a middle class family, he's looking forward to, he's got great expectations. We got something in the last budget that we had earlier. What more can we expect, or are we going to expect something really big and surprising for an individual?
I think first and foremost, we must realize that there is already a shortfall of collections this year, and there is a huge pressure on the government to contain the fiscal deficit and also demand to spend on infrastructure and offer various concessions to the corporates. Therefore, I think doling out a lot of tax concession to the individuals may not be a right approach this time. It will be a wait and watch policy, but still there are a lot of expectations from the individuals, for example, increasing the slab rate or ATC benefits, or increasing the various tax reduction in the form of medical reimbursement. Whether all will happen, it is doubtful, but maybe some relief might be coming our way on this.
So we'll be discussing each one of them separately. But like you mentioned, there is a lot of stress at this point in time, especially the tax collection. But on the other hand, this government has also got a view that, we really need to increase the savings rate in the country. And they have got a big target of about 32% that they are looking forward to achieve. So do you think then it is going to be really important for the government to give individuals more options so that they can save more?
I agree with you. If you look at it, ATC is a great platform which achieves twin objectives. One is it offers tax deduction, some tax relief to the individuals and the households. At the same time, it helps direct the funds where they are required, whether it is the insurance policies, infrastructure funds, or long-term savings. I think government can introduce a special provision, either as a separate tax provision or as part of ATC, wherein the households can invest in long-term infrastructure bonds. A tax reduction of maybe 30,000 to 50,000 could be given.
That infra bonds that you're talking about, something which was available as a 20,000 extra limit, yes. Now it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. Therefore, it will achieve twin objectives, as I mentioned. First, it will give an additional relief to the taxpayers. Second is it will give a lot of funds to the government which are easily available from the households for long-term infrastructure bonds. You can put in restrictions like 3 to 5 years of capital investment, etc. But I think that is one way to go in order to garner large resources at a very cheap cost which are available with the individuals.
Right. So, for an individual who's probably watching this particular show, what would you like to, tell them? What are the key expectations that KPMG has from, the finance minister this time as far as to increase the savings rate is concerned? Because the sense that I am getting from what you're telling is that on one hand, the government wants to increase the savings rate. There is a pressure at the government side as well. But the kind of reform measures that they are announcing, they really have to give out some doles.
If you look at the last year's budget, already 3 limits were revised. One was in respect of slab rates, second was in respect of ATC, and third was interest on housing deduction. Even though the expectation on all these limits was much higher, maybe the government can tinker with the limits this time and increase one or all the 3. At the same time, there are certain other concessions available in the tax statute. For example, conveyance allowance of 800 rupees per month, medical reimbursement of up to 15,000 per annum. Similarly, children education allowance of 100 rupees per month. Now, all these limits to my mind have outlived their utility. Either the government should scrap these, do away with these, or increase them substantially to make it more meaningful for the individuals to have some tangible benefit. Now we all know the medical expense of 15,000 is neither here nor there.
Right.
It doesn't meet any purposes. If you visit a doctor today, the consultation fees could be about 600 to 800 rupees. Similarly, any medical expenses that you incur, normal medicine could cost you a few thousand rupees, and for a family of 4 or 6, this limit is very low. Similarly, there is a demand on the leave travel allowance also. Right now, only 2 leave travels in a period of 4 calendar years is exempt. In order to encourage tourism in the country and also to boost expenditure on travel, I think it should be made once in a year, maybe domestically only. And besides the air travel or the train fares that are included, maybe we can also add hotels also over there, because that will provide impetus to the hotel industry as well.
Which is clearly under a lot of pressure at this point in time.
Absolutely. There are a lot of hotel rooms which are available today, and I think it will be a win-win situation if we can do that.
Right. So, a couple of interesting suggestions that you gave us. Talking about others as well, ATC that you mentioned about. We know that the government has already hiked 50,000 rupees under ATC. Do you think they will immediately go ahead and hike it further? How realistic is that expectation of a 3 lakh limit under ATC? Do you think we are likely to see something of that sort?
If you ask me the expectation, the answer is yes. Whether the government can do it, it's difficult, keeping in view the various constraints that the government is facing, especially due to a huge shortfall in the revenue collections.
Right.
But at the same time, we have to look at it. The government is trying to give a very positive image for the budget this time, both to the industry and to the individuals. Let's see who gets what from the finance minister on the 28th of February this year.
But are you really optimistic about some really big bang things coming in, especially under the category of direct tax? Something really big are you expecting? What are you hearing? What kind of signals are you getting so far?
There are 2 ways of looking at it. One is that either we have some big bang reforms coming our way, or the government can take a number or series of small steps which rebuild the investors' confidence. In either way, I think it will be the India and the Indians who will win, whichever approach the finance minister adopts. Because right now the key issue is investors lack confidence in the economy in terms of the tax regime, both in terms of clarity, certainty and stability as well. Therefore, there are a number of provisions in the direct taxes which require some clarity. For example, on the indirect transfer of shares, which has been a bone of contention for long, government needs to clarify the prospective nature of that, especially in terms of substantial value of shares. Similarly, MAT is a big concern for the industry. Government needs to come out with a clarification, especially to boost manufacturing, to make in India and ease of doing business. These rates should be cut down. Similarly, today, any tax litigation, whether it's a corporate or individual, it takes a humongous amount of time. It can take up to 10 years. We need to strengthen the existing dispute resolution mechanisms, whether it is APAs, whether it is Authority for Advanced Rulings, or the litigation which goes at the tax officer level, to cut it down, provide certainty, resolve the cases and move ahead.
So we need tax clarity. That's going to be a big thing. Something we did not really see in the last budget coming through. There was some indication, some sort of signal which came through. Apart from tax clarity, how do you think, how significant it's going to be if the government is able to provide some sort of clarity as far as better tax regime is concerned, for individuals, so that the tax collection can actually go up?
See, as I mentioned, that stability and certainty of any tax regime is the hallmark of any matured economy. If we are saying that we are becoming a $2 trillion economy today, and we are moving ahead towards a $5 trillion target over the next 10 years, we have to usher in a tax regime which is non-adversarial. There are absolutely clear provisions in the law, and wherever there is any ambiguity or uncertainty, it is clarified upfront. If that happens, obviously the compliance increases, and that has been the experience worldwide. You have to stabilize on the tax rates as well, which also helps in increasing the compliances. To my mind, automatically the tax collections will go up multifold.
Right. And talking about the housing loan in particular, we've been speaking to a lot of bankers, and what they say that the credit offtake has not really picked up.
Yeah.
Though there are some green shoots in the retail space, individuals have started approaching. But again, on one hand, we have a government which wants to increase housing. They have got a housing for all plan and everything, but the loans are really not picking up. Do you think last time in the last budget, the housing interest, the limit was increased to 2 lakh rupees? That is something that can also be tweaked with at this point in time?
If you look at the recent reports on the realty sector, there is a excess of about 2 to 3 years in the housing sector today, which can be consumed at the present rate. Therefore, there is a dire need to boost the demand on the housing sector. Last year's upgradation did help, but I think that was the time when the new government had just taken office. If the government can increase it further, it will definitely provide impetus to the demand, and which will ultimately help the banks as well as the housing industry. So to my mind, yes, it should be on the scorecard this time.
It should be there. Very quick word on what's really what can be expected as a special incentive when it comes to some specific section of the society. Do you think something of that sort may also come up? Because there has been a lot of focus through Jan Dhan Yojana. They're trying to increase the savings rate. Getting women coming all together, focusing a lot on MSMEs. Anything on that sort?
See, the issue is, if we go back few years back, there was a special slab rate for women. Okay, now that was done away with because there is a pro lobby and against lobby as well on that, and then there is a larger debate of men versus women on the equality front. To my mind, I think since we are talking about the women empowerment, and that is frankly the need of the hour today in the country, couple of things can be looked into to provide certain tax concessions which are very focused. For example, we can talk about a special slab rate or a special tax rate for women, but it may not go well, keeping in with the various constraints that we talked about. On the other hand, if we look at it, why don't we offer certain incentive to the employers who are employing women workforce, offer accelerated tax deduction for the salary and skills training expenses incurred by the employer, offer some special tax incentive in terms of the tax deduction, wherein employers are incurring in reskilling the women force, which is coming back after, say, a career break. Also, since the women entrepreneurship is increasing in the country, I think to encourage that, two things can be done. One, offer them loans at the concession rate purely for business purposes. And second is, why don't we offer them tax relief for 3 to 5 years from the start of their business?
Right. So that's a very interesting suggestion, in fact, that came in from KPMG. Very last word before we let you go. Do you think there's also some sort of a need to rejig this entire, pattern that we have as far as the entire tax slab and the options that we have at this point in time? We need to include more and more options, than what we have at this point?
We should not have more slabs in that. It only confuses it. I think as the revenue collections go up and as the tax net increases, we should increase the minimum threshold limit and accordingly revise the slab upwards. Today, if you look at it, the 2.5 lakh slab rate is probably one of the minimum slab rates across the globe, below which the income is exempt. The need is that we should leave more money in the hands of the individual and the households who will ultimately spend that money or save that money. It means investments. It will spur demand for goods and services, which will be a win-win situation for the overall economy. So my point is, leave more money for the individuals.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Vassal, for giving us the sense of what's really going to be the key thing to watch out for, especially as far as the direct tax is concerned. So clearly, if the government wants to increase the savings rate, the target that they have at this point in time, they will really have to allow more money in the hands of individual households so that eventually the savings rate goes up and we see a better growth rate coming back to the economy as well. We are slipping into a very short break right now. Management of Hubtown is going to be joining us after a short break to talk to us about their set of earnings in the third quarter.